right, mathematicians. Today we are going to be talking about weight. Can you say that word with me? Weight. Let's say it 3 times. Weight, weight, weight. And weight is how heavy something is. We say something's heavy if it weighs a lot. Sometimes it's really hard to pick up. And we say something is light. Can you say light? It's light if it's easy to pick up. It doesn't weigh a lot. Not light like the ceiling. Light like it's light.
Did you say to turn on the lights?
No, not turn on the lights. Light as in it's light. It doesn't weigh a lot. Let's think about an example. I have 2 objects here. I have this big textbook, and I have this beautiful teacher bracelet that Brayden got me, that I love. And which one do you think weighs more? Which has more weight? Which one is heavier? Which one is lighter? You can say, I think. Yeah, the textbook has more weight. It's heavier. It's harder to pick up and harder to carry. The bracelet is lighter. It's easier to pick up. It doesn't take as much strength. It's easier to carry. Like I can carry it on my wrist. Like that. And it's so easy, whereas the textbook is harder to carry. It has more weight. It's heavier. Now let's go over those words we just learned. Weight is how heavy or light an object is. The word heavy or heavier means that it takes more strength to pick up. It means it weighs more. It has more weight. Imagine right now, close your eyes, and imagine trying to pick up a big table. It's really heavy. Now imagine trying to pick up a little pen. It's light. Can you say light? So we have the words weight, heavy and heavier, or light and lighter. When we say how much does something weigh, that means we're asking about the weight. Another way to figure out how heavy something is to put it on a scale. For example, some grown-ups in their bathroom or in their room have a scale and they step on it and it tells them a number that shows how heavy they are. And if they put a lot of things in their body, like if I eat a lot of chips, I'm going to get heavier, I'll weigh more. Whereas if I put less things in my body, I'm not as heavy. The scale tells you how heavy things are. So we can also use a scale to show how heavy things are, not in a number, but in 2 objects. We can put them on either side, and one side will lift up because it's light, and the other side will sink down because it's heavy. I don't have one of those scales, but that's okay, because I found an online version we're gonna look at. Ready?
Look at the scale. An apple is on one side and a cherry is on the other. Which fruit is heavier?
All right, let's look at this thing. This is called a scale. Can you say scale? Let's say that 5 times. Scale, 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 scale. A scale like this is used to compare the weight of 2 things to see which has more weight and which has less weight. The thing that is heavier sinks down on the scale because it falls to the ground. And that means the thing that is lighter pops up. Looking at this scale, which fruit is heavier? Is it the apple or the cherry? How do you know? You can say the is heavier. I know because. Yes, the apple is heavier. We know because the scale is pulling down on the apple side. Think about it. An apple is harder to pick up than a little cherry. The apple has more weight. When we look at a scale, like this, we can look at which one's going more down to the ground, and that shows us which one's heavier. The one that goes up towards the sky is the cherry. See how the apple is closer to the ground than the cherry?
The apple is heavier. How do you know the apple is heavier than the cherry? The side with the apple is lower. Look, 2 apples are on the scale now. Which apple is heavier?
Interesting. Now we have 2 apples. One is yellow and one is red. But which one is heavier and which one is lighter? You can tell by looking at which one is closer to the ground. This is tricky. They are the same distance from the ground. The scale has them at the same spot. That means the weight is the same. Neither is heavier, neither is lighter. They are the same. When something is the same, what can we say? What math word can we use? Yes, we can say it's equal. We can say the red apple and the yellow apple have equal weight. Can you say that with me? The red apple and the yellow apple have equal weight.
Neither apple is heavier. They weigh the same. The weight of the first apple is equal to the weight of the second apple. How do you know they are equal? Neither side of the scale is down. The scale has a melon on it now. Which fruit is lighter?
Whoa, look at that
The
watermelon. What do you think? Which is heavier? Which is lighter? You can say, I think. Yes, the watermelon is heavier. The scale is closer to the ground. It went down, and the apple went up. That shows you that the watermelon is heavier and the apple is lighter. Here's that word, lighter.
Is lighter. How do you know the apple is lighter?
How do you know the apple
The
is
side
lighter? You can say, I know because. Let's
with the
see.
apple is higher. Which fruit is heavier?
Yeah, they said we know because the side with the apple is higher. It went up. That means it's lighter than the watermelon. Which fruit is heavier? You can say the is heavier. I know because.
The melon is heavier. The side with the melon is down.
Now you know how to use a scale to tell which objects are heavier and which are lighter.
For your homework today, you're going to have to compare some objects. Some of them are going to be things where you're going to have to use your memory. You're going to have to remember how heavy some of these things are and take a guess. Sometimes they'll be the same. Sometimes they will have equal weight. For example, you might have to think about a piece of bread and think about how heavy it is. You might not have a piece of bread in your house right now, and you might have to use your brain to remember. Or you might have to think about a blueberry. How heavy is a blueberry? You might even have to think about a piece of paper or a pencil or something from school. Here is your math homework. Es la tarea de matemáticas. Compare these pictures by weight. Which is heavier? Which is lighter? You should use the sentence frame, the is heavier and the is lighter. Or you could say that they have equal weight if it's the same. I know because. Remember that using these words in these sentence frames help you sound like a grown-up mathematician. Compara estas imágenes por peso. El cual es más pesado, cuál es más ligero. Deberías usar el marco de oración. The is heavier and the is lighter, or they have equal weight. I know because I think you can do it. Let me show you the first one. Which one do you think is heavier, the dog or the butterfly? You can say the is heavier, the is lighter. I know because. What about the white bread and the marble bread? Which one is heavier? Which one is lighter? Or do they have equal weight? How do you know? Look at the orange and the cherry. Which one do you think is heavier? Which one do you think is lighter? How do you know? Look at the backpack and the piece of paper. Which one is heavier? Which one is lighter? How do you know? This one's tricky. Here's one banana, and then there's a bunch of bananas. Which is heavier, the single banana or the bunch of bananas? How do you know? All right, I have a challenge for you. You ready? You up for a challenge? Really? Oh, you're so smart. What am I going to do with you? I'm going to have to send you to college tomorrow. Do you want to go to college tomorrow? No, I'd miss you too much. But really, here's the challenge. So, we've looked at a lot of things, and a lot of times the bigger thing is also heavier. For example, the dog is bigger than the butterfly, and the dog is heavier than the butterfly. Is the bigger thing always heavier? Every time? The bigger thing is always heavier? What do you think? Can something smaller be heavier? Can you think of an example of two things where the bigger thing is lighter and the smaller thing is heavier?